Hello and welcome to Introduction to Epistemology, and today we are going to discuss the quest for certainty, and this is the introductory part for skepticism. So the point that we will start on the common sense view. So when we talk about common sense view, what we know, we usually talk about that I know about myself, or I can know about my past, or I know a little bit about my future, or I have a knowledge, a scientific knowledge that I know some model truth, and I have some certainty about of some of the religious truth. But when I talk about these 5 points, let's explore one by one. So when we talk about knowing myself, in a common sense, people usually know what. So usually people know about, okay, what things you like, what eat do you like, what do you like to listen, or what are the things that you like to do, because we already know that human personality, it could be introspective or extrospective. We also know something about us in the past, like in the past how you brought up, what is happened in your school, in your childhood, and then what has happened in your university, what are the hobbies in your past, and a little bit about the future, like what is your plan to do, what you want to do in your life, or what is your plan to get in your life. So again, the common sense is that I know something about my future, about my past, and obviously about what has happened to me in my life. And I also believe that I have a knowledge on science. Like for example, obviously we have studied about different scientific theories like Darwin theory, and we also know about some general moral truth. Like if we go to the next slide, I have mentioned some self-evident moral principles we will discuss in later on. And we also have some knowledge about religious truth, like obviously it depends upon which religion you follow. There are three main religions when we talk about Abrahamic religions, like Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. So Abrahamic religions is one of the religion that believe on one God. So obviously people that having some common sense on perspective who they are, what happened in their past, and a little bit what they know in the future, or what may happen in their future. So that's a common sense view, but it does not mean that these all informations are true. So in the next slide I already mentioned that, but there are reason to doubt about this, and there is a possibility and there is reason that person or people know little bit about them. Perhaps they only know about self-evident truth. We will discuss in next slide, or few propositions about our present consciousness. Like when we talk about self-evident moral principles, we know about these some facts like promoting happiness to the other people, refraining from harming others, treating others justify according to the merits, need, or as an equal, telling the truth and not telling lies, keeping promises, promoting one's own happiness, maintaining and promoting one's own virtue, which means self-respect. So we know only of these self-evident moral principles, but it is equally the fact that we don't know about much about us. But people think that they know more. They know in common sense, but in skeptic view, people know very little about themselves. When we talk about the propositions of our present consciousness, I give one example of, for example, playing with the ball. And in a scientific way, we know about that proposition that when we have a ball, our brain consists of different neurons, and then we have a sensory input, like for example, senses the ball if we are playing the table tennis, or we're playing the tennis, or whatever the game we are playing. So we send a message to our brain and through our sensory input to the neurons that is present in our brain, and then the neurons send them message in terms of the motor output, and then the change of the senses occur. It depends which game we are playing. So we know about this information, like I mentioned one of the article, which is a sensory motor account of vision and visual consciousness. So in this article they are talking about, they are proposing that how we act in a particular way in an environment. So it's obvious, for example, if a person is playing a tennis, it is not possible that in a field of tennis the person is playing the other game like table tennis or badminton. So a personality is aware of the surrounding, and then the obviously the knowledge and information that is present in the mind, in the memory, played accordingly what is in the environment and how we going to play that. So you can read this paper, you can explain that. So we, in the end, we only say that we don't know much about us. Even many philosophers ask from themselves that who they are and who am I, which we discussed in the previous lecture about self-knowledge. So if we talk about in skeptic way, we don't know much about us. Maybe we only know some self-evident truth, and we are aware of some limited consciousness that why we behave or act like in certain environment. But the common sense that common people know, or common people think that they know much about themselves or something in the past and little bit about the future. But when we talk about quest for certainty, or when we talk about certainty, there is only two things that is certain in the life. Or when we talk about the word certainty, we only know about two things. One is the life, because we are currently living and we are breathing and we are doing our daily life. Or there is another certainty is about death, that everybody have to be die at certain time of life. But some people sarcastically talk about the certainty. They add one more thing, which is paying tax, which is actually obviously if you are living in technological advanced countries, paying tax is mandatory for every human. So this is in terms of sarcastic view, but in fact we only know about we are living and we have to die. But between them, the thing that we know about the scientific knowledge that we get from different fields. Obviously different scientific fields explain the knowledge in terms of different context. We know about some theories like Big Bang theory. We know about some scientific laws, but we still don't know much about the universe, and people and researchers and philosophers still are exploring the world, which is quite uncertain. So thank you so much for today's lecture, and hope to see you again.